they do that? That annoys me, Rock. It just gets all up in my snout.
Word up. I hates the ninja tricks too, G.
Bebop, Rocksteady, you let them get away, you dunder-headed dummies.
Yo, what's up with all the insults, G? This isn't 1987. We got rights, Shredder. We're in the villains union, dog.
It's no nice the name calling. What if I say you look like soft cheese grater? And you look like pregnant man with brain for belt buckle?
Enough with the name calling. It's getting us nowhere. We've got to hunt down those miserable turtles. Or bait them out with pizza. Pizza usually works.
Live from the sewers, this is the Turtle Power Podcast.
This is your audio source for all the news, reviews, and insight into the world of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
God, I love being a turtle!
Now join your hosts, Brian, Alex,
Awesome!
and Darby.
Bossa Nova!
Bossa Nova?
Chevy Nova? Excellent!
Now it's time for the Turtle Power Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Turtle Power Podcast. And man, do we have a big one today. Not only do we have the end of the Nick Turtles, but we have the return of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle video games, because we have a exclusive interview with the creators from Raw Thrills of the brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game. That's right. So let's get right into it.
The authorities won't talk to us, but they might talk to a TV news reporter. How do I look?
Great.
General, April O'Neil, Channel 9 News. Channel 6 News.
So, what's with the getup? You a news reporter?
In another lifetime, maybe.
This is April O'Neil, Channel 6 News.
April O'Neil, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
This is April O'Neil, Channel 3 News.
I do want to mention, too, that if you notice the audio quality isn't up to par with how it normally is for the show. That's because I'm basically recording this outside on the road, not in my my home studio. So obviously I was out and about for recording the interview. So continued to record the rest of the episode out and about. So that's why the audio may sound just a little different. So in addition to some quick news bites, I do want to talk about a few new acquisitions I've got. I did get, so I'll mention this one first. I did get the hardcover of the new Turtles Usagi Yojimbo crossover. Very good. Stan did a fantastic job on it, as he always does. I don't like to spoil things too much on this show. I just like to recommend things that we do like, and definitely enjoyed this book. Something I didn't like very much was, so I had this on my eBay list for a while. This is from the 2003 Turtles era. This is a book called The Way of the Warrior, and the description of it sounded fantastic. And I had this thing. I was looking for this book forever, and I finally found a copy that was pretty cheap, and so I got it. I think it came from the UK, and the reason why it came from the UK is because it was released in the UK. I don't even think it was released in the US, and it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting a book, like a story book. Something along the lines of the, I mentioned it before, those series of books that were made for the 2K3 series. I've got this one here, Novel 2, City at War, which is basically a novelization of the City at War storyline. So I thought this was going to be something along those lines. Unfortunately, it was not. It's kind of like a kid's information book, but so it's got like a Meet the Turtles section. It talks about Raph is 15 years old. He weighs 82 kilograms and is 158 centimeters. Nicknames Raffy, Psycho, Secret Weapon. I like Secret Weapon, that's good. Apparently he likes baseball, hockey, golf, and fighting. Favorite food is cereal. So is my daughter's. Mikey, he's got the nunchaku, which is, good to see considering this is the UK. Nickname for Donatello is Don, Donnie, and Don San. Don San? Don San? No, that's not correct at all. But it's got like crossword puzzles in here and mazes and all kinds of random stuff. So it was not what I was expecting. But so I would recommend you stay away from this one. That was money that was not well spent. Money that was not spent at all because it was free. I'm sure if you follow at TMNT on Twitter, you've seen these Pintroll giveaways. And, man, they are really hard to come by because they only have a very limited stock of each pin that they've released. And they go quick. We're talking like minutes or minute. But I did get one. I got Pugtaro from the this final season of the Nick Turtles, the Tales of the TMNT. Not to be confused with the other Tales of the TMNT, but Tales of the Nick Turtles. Let's call it that, Tales of the Nick Turtles. So I did get a little Pugtaro pin, and so I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Maybe I'll put it on my lanyard over at NASA. That's not a bad idea, actually. I could do that. And then I'm sure a lot of people will be asking why I have a little dog with a little Japanese little insignia on his chest. Yeah. All right. So in addition to some new acquisitions, we do have some quick news bites. If you have iPhone, or I guess it would work for iPads as well, there is a TMNT stickers add-on, I guess. I don't know. It's part of the Messages app store. So if you go in there, you can just do a search for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or maybe TMNT, and you can download these cool Ninja Turtle stickers. They're kind of like GIFs, but they don't move. They're just kind of just stickers for the app. So we've been using them between me and Alex and Darby, and we do need to stop right here and say congratulations to Alex for joining the Dad Club. Him and his lovely wife, Lindsay, just gave birth to their first daughter. So he's now in the club. So congratulations, Alex and Lindsay. I love you guys so much. One last quick news bite. I'm just going to put a link to this. You can take a look if you want, or do a Google search. The quote, Turtles live action parody show, which that's how it's entitled. It's definitely a Ninja Turtles knockoff. There's no parody about it. There's no jest. This is just some dude who's got some Ninja Turtle costumes, and then he goes around to different towns and gets people to pay him to go and get their picture taken with fake Ninja Turtles. So yeah, so that's a thing. So keep an eye out for that. It might be coming up to your town soon. Ooh. All right, so with that, let's get into TV news. So, we've come to the end. We've come to the end, and possibly what was the worst handled series finale in TV history. And of course, there's been other series that have just ended with no fanfare, and that's fine. But this is Nick Turtles. This was, I mean, you go to any department store and you find Nick Turtle stuff everywhere. And that the fact that this show just petered out just to just complete lack of any sort of promotion or fanfare, it's very sad to see. But us Turtle fans, we knew that it was coming to an end. We knew that we were ready for this. Of course, unless you watched it on the DVD, which came out, months in advance, then you were able to watch it this past weekend. And, before we talk about the finale, let's hear from the voice actors for our Turtles, for our Nick Turtles. The TMNT Twitter, and I believe their Facebook also released some videos. So let's play the audio from those right here.
Hey kids, Seth Green here. I've had the privilege of playing Leonardo on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the last several years. And I have to say, what an incredible thrill it's been as a lifelong fan of this brand to get to be a part of this enduring legacy and bring these characters and this story to a new generation. I feel humbled by it. So thank you to the fans, thank you to Nickelodeon, and Turtle Power.
Hey there. It's kind of sad, actually, for me to come to you and tell you what being a part of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meant to me. So all I would say is to my turtle brothers, thank you so much. It was a privilege to put on those headphones and stand in front of that microphone and be Raphael, because I love Raphael. He's obviously the best turtle. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. As I say goodbye to the franchise, I would just from the bottom of my heart, say thank you to Kevin Eastman and to everyone involved with it, and all the kids and not so kids. I count myself really lucky to have been a part of this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle family. So, Booyakasha!
Hey, you guys, Rob Donatello Paulson here. Booyakabunga! 5 years. 5 years. Even I, the genius turtle, finds that difficult to comprehend. But I'll tell you what, we have nobody to thank but you guys. What an incredible run we have had. I've gotten 2 rides in the Turtle Van, the original Raphael, and now, thanks to you guys, Donatello, for another 5 years. I'm pretty blown away by it. Your love, your support, your kindness, it's just, it's overwhelming. And we owe you guys an incredible debt. So please keep turtling, all right? Turtle power, keep smiling, and keep your eyes open, because there's some cool turtle stuff coming. That's about all I can say. Thanks very much, you guys. Take care.
Booyakasha! Greg Sipes here, voice of Mikey from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. After 5 shell-shocking years, our TMNT series is ending. What a wild ride. Playing Mikey has been one of the greatest blessings I've ever received my whole life. I grew up watching Michelangelo. Mikey got me into meditation, martial arts, skateboarding, surfing. Just totally blessed my life up. So it's been a great responsibility and gift to offer to this next generation. I'm honored to be a part of the TMNT legacy, and I know the Turtledom will always have a special place in its heart for your Mikey. And a big thank you to Nickelodeon and all the fans that have been watching for years. Thank you. Turtle Power!
So I should mention, too, that Greg Sipes is actually on the latest, well, I guess it's not the latest, it came out, I guess, just a couple weeks ago, in preparation for the finale. He was on the Nick Animation Podcast, great podcast. Hector over there does a great job. So check that out. We got a link in the show notes, as always. I did mention it earlier about the DVD. Because this last season it got all chopped up and all the episodes got moved around and everything, because the actual finale was supposed to be the Mutant Apocalypse trio, I guess, and that got moved up earlier in the season, and so the Wanted, Bebop and Rocksteady, which turned into the finale, got released early on the DVD. So anyway, the absolute final DVD from the Nick Turtles is coming out December 12th. It's a 2 DVD set, of course, DVDs, not Blu-rays. It's going to be priced at $16.99. So if you want to get the final DVDs, they'll be available then. So, my thoughts on the final season, we can kind of go over it right quick. So, started off with the Shredder returning as like, zombie Shredder, but with Cavaxis, of course, the great Mark Hamill joining the Nick Turtles. That was I thought it was good. It was definitely different. And then we had When Worlds Collide. With the neutralizer comes back, and there's definitely some history there. That was good. It was kind of it almost seemed like a throwaway, but not. It almost kind of like a little bit like filler, but it was a good story. Just it didn't play into the big overall scheme. But I guess you can't. I guess that's kind of the point of this season. It is Tales of the TMNT. So. Tales of the Nick Turtles. So I guess that's kind of the idea, is that you had these little pocket of different pockets of episodes that were kind of their own individual stories. So that was followed by, of course, the Usagi Yojimbo, and I talked about that in the past, and that was a fantastic arc there. Then we had the Lone Rat and Cubs. Of course, that was Kevin Eastman's addition to the show. Fantastic. That was a one episode one as well, and that was just a fantastic story there. Then we had the Mutant Apocalypse. This was very divisive between the Turtles audience. I personally enjoyed it. Obviously, the Mad Max heavily influenced. It was cool to see the Turtles in such different versions, and it's supposed to be in canon. This wasn't just like a story, like some sort of like dream sequence. This was supposed to be the actual end of the Nick Turtles. So, this is supposed to be way off into the future, and interestingly enough, Donnie becomes, if you're not reading the IDW series, I won't spoil it. I won't. But there's obviously, if you know what I'm talking about, if you're reading the IDW series and you saw Mutant Apocalypse, there's definite correlation there with Donnie's character and what happened in both series. So the Monsters versus Mutants one, that was an interesting one. Personally, for me, the Universal Monsters kind of stuff, I think it was, I don't know, I wasn't the right age for it. Maybe when there was definitely around when I was younger, but I kind of feel like a little older than me would, kind of really get a kick out of seeing all these characters interacting with the Turtles. But of course, they're trying to introduce them to a younger audience as well. But I don't really understand what, there's not really a point to it. Just that the fact that it's obviously, the creators have been influenced by those characters, and so they wanted to include them in with the Turtles. So it was fine. It was definitely it was a good timing for Halloween and everything. So, and then we finish it off with the '87 Turtles and Nick Turtles crossover. Wanted Bebop and Rocksteady. This was, even though the time frame wasn't as originally planned, I think that this was probably the better ending to the show. However, it is interesting. I mean, and again, they didn't plan for this to be the last episode. So, however, it was kind of weird the fact that the end of the Nick Turtles was, the very end of that episode was not Nick Turtles. It was the '87 Turtles on the screen. So, it was just, again, not originally as it was planned. That's just kind of how it turned out. But it was kind of a weird way to end the overall. But I think the storyline, was a good choice to put to the end. Though we reported on that, the original voice cast, which of course we did have here on the show. when I was lucky enough to interview all of them. I mean, we reported that they had recorded this episode, or these 3 episodes, I mean, years ago. It was literally years ago that they recorded this. So it's great to finally see what it was, and it was definitely it was nice that the fact that, you know, the last time we had the crossover, it was a lot more of like start from scratch, new introductions and everything like that. Whereas this one, they already knew each other. You know, it was like, oh, hey, you guys are back. Yeah, that's cool. So it was very cool they could just kind of pick up where they left off and continue on with another adventure. And of course, having, you know, the Shredder in the Nick Turtles universe was very entertaining. So, man, the writing was fantastic. I know, I'm sure some people didn't really like it, but all of the alliteration and the insults was I appreciated it. That was some hard work to get all those in.
It was one heck of a team-up, even if your team is a little weird. We're weird?
Thanks, Leonardo. You guys were awesome. If you ever need help in the future, you know where to find us.
Ready to go, guys?
Heck yeah!
Later, dudes. Cowabunga! Booyakasha!
So, what's next for you guys?
So we did have some of our listeners reply back to us what they thought about the finale. Skyrim Samurai, longtime listener, says, not even going to bother with Rise of the TMNT. We'll talk about that next. Too many ridiculous changes. I will miss this past iteration, as it was as good as a TMNT show could ever hope to have been. Wow, that's it. If you guys have been listening, Skyrim Samurai does not let the punches fly. Well, no, he does let the punches fly when they need to be thrown. So that's, I think, some big words from Skyrim Samurai right there. Tim Gracky, another longtime listener, and we got to meet one time. That was cool. It says, I'm already having TMNT withdrawals now that it's over. I wouldn't have found your podcast without this series, so I'm going to miss it for a lot of reasons. As for Rise of the TMNT, I'm very skeptical about the character changes, but I'll always give a new TMNT series its fair chance. I concur. And lastly, we got Scott Sandler, who says, I thought it was a pretty good crossover. Interesting to see it end on Bebop and Rocksteady reforming. Yeah, that was a, at the end of the series, why not? It was, it made an arc in the characters, that's, which is good. You don't want to see characters just be, one dimensional. You want to see them go, through an arc as well, the side characters. So, I like that aspect of it as well. So, it was mentioned there, Rise of the TMNT. Yes, we have some new details on the new series that is replacing the Nick Turtles. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. Even though they're both on Nickelodeon, I think we're going to call this 2012 series Nick Turtles or the 2012 series. And then this is just going to be Rise of the TMNT. Because obviously, since they're both on Nickelodeon, but I think Rise, that's totally separate. So we've got new details on the cast, and we do have a behind the scenes video. So with all the voice actors. So let's go ahead and play that right now.
And now, meet the cast of Nickelodeon's Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Omar Miller as Raphael.
I relate to Raphael because oftentimes I act before I think. Raph is the meathead. The aggression and the overall brotherly caring that he brings as a big brother can't be overstated.
Just saying, you don't want to mess with me. With Ben Schwartz as Leonardo.
To voice Leo, I'm joining a legacy of incredible voice actors. He gets to be funny, he gets to be laid back, which is so fun to play. I'm champion of the world.
Josh Brenner as Donatello.
I grew up as a huge Donatello guy. We're similar in a lot of ways. We're both science nerds. The biggest difference is that he's actually good at science. Next time, make your weapons out of a high-grade titanium. Thank you very much.
Brandon Michael Smith as Mikey.
Michelangelo was my favorite Ninja Turtle, and now I'm Michelangelo. He is the rambunctious, fun, adventurous turtle, and in my opinion, I think he's the funniest one.
Yay! A sewer tube full of nothing!
And Kat Graham as April O'Neil.
Playing April O'Neil is so awesome. It's an honor to bring something completely fresh and new to such an iconic character. She's a pretty strong girl.
Fans can expect a lot of fun.
A lot of wild adventures.
Hilarious characters that you will remember forever.
It's silly, and it's fun, and it also makes you think.
It's something that was such a big part of my childhood.
I'm a total Nickelodeon freak.
It's pretty remarkable to be a part of it.
It's a dream come true. And it's gonna be amazing! Yeah!
So there you go. There's our new Turtles and our new April. I've heard of the first two actors. I've seen them before. The other three, I haven't really seen them in any other things before. So I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. But one thing that is missing, though, is the fact that our very own Rob Paulsen will be, I say our very own because he is part of the Turtles like no other. He is actually going to be staying on as a voice director, I believe. Who better than the guy that's done more Turtles voice acting than any other person. So, I think with his guidance, we shouldn't have to worry about any sort of issues when it comes to the voice talent. So that was very good to see. So before we leave Turtle news, TV news, we have to, of course, get our weekly Splinter wisdom from the great texts of Splinter. So let's go through a couple here. I'm not gonna go all the way back, but let's do a couple here. A turtle who spins. I mean, maybe should I do it in a voice? Several of you, perhaps all of you, are saying no, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let's see. A turtle who spends too much time sunning its belly will find itself trapped on its back. Because, turtles, they get stuck on their back of their shells. Leonardo asked my favorite Space Heroes character. It's the ship. It handles the abuse of its crew and deadly missions with calm dignity. I actually like that one. I really like that one. I work on rockets, so it makes sense. A cheesicle in hand is better than 2 in the freezer with Ice Cream Kitty. I got nothing for this one. I have absolutely nothing for this. I don't even know what a cheesicle is. Is that just a frozen piece of cheese? I'm at a loss here. This is why I need Darby and Alex. There's no such thing as a free pizza. That's absolutely not true at all. I get free pizzas all the time because you get like Domino's or Papa John's or Pizza Hut, and you get enough of them, and then you get the rewards, and then you get a free pizza. Wrong, Splinter. Last one. Beware a ninja bearing gifts. No, what's wrong with that? Well, the Ninja Turtles are ninjas. They bring gifts all the time. Splinter's starting to lose it in his old age. I don't know. All right, let's get out of TV news and into collecting news.
From Playmates!
So, a couple updates on some things we've talked about in the past. The TMNT Action Figure Encyclopedia Kickstarter met its goal, and we talked about this in the past. So, if you, I assume if you backed it, you know that it met its goal. So that's great. This is if you don't remember, this is basically a coffee table book that documents with exquisite detail, fantastic photos of every single TMNT action figure ever made. So it looks fantastic. I'm hoping to get. I was not able to get in on the Kickstarter, but I don't know if these will be available down the line or not. NECA Casey Jones mask is now available for pre-order. So we did talk about this coming out of was that New York Toy Fair? Maybe it was. It was one of the toy fairs, or maybe it was San Diego Comic-Con. Either way, this is it's basically the cosplay Casey Jones mask, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Circa the 1990 movie. So we've got the link in the show notes. It's pretty cheap too. DreamX April is coming. We've talked about the DreamX figures. They're not action figures. They're figurines. We've talked about these in the past. And they're making an April one now, and it looks pretty cool. So it's coming out soon, and we've got a link in the show notes where all the DreamX characters can be ordered. Lastly, wanted to mention this. This was from Toka. He sent this out. This is It's not from 1987, but it features the 87 Turtles. This is a yoga mat, a Ninja Turtles yoga mat. I think this was from Kmart. I think is what it was from. But it's a yoga mat, and it's got the 87 Ninja Turtles on there. I think I need to get this. I don't do yoga like hardly ever, but I think I need to get this. Yeah. If you guys see any other collecting bits out there that you want to share with the show, send them our way. TurtlePowerPodcast at gmail.com, at TMNT Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, TurtlePowerPodcast. You know how to get a hold of us. Let's get on to comics news.
I strike two on my way down. Donatello takes out a third with his staff. Already the pudgy ones are starting to panic. Raph loves this stuff. He's not alone.
Why is he narrating? Is he crazy?
Hardcore crazy.
I love these guys!
So another update on another fundraiser. Fundraiser? I don't know if that's the technical term. Online funding extravaganza. Let's call it that. Drawing Blood, of course, Kevin Eastman, the great Kevin Eastman, was on our show and talking about Drawing Blood. It did make its goal and then actually met a stretch goal as well, right at the end. So we will be getting this comic. I am backing this project. So, it's crazy. So that's the update with Drawing Blood. It's coming out. There's a TMNT Origin that was funded on Indiegogo. This is the fan-made comic that is basically going to be a end to the Mirage Volume 4. I feel kind of weird with backing, a fan-made thing, like monetarily, where, it's supposed to be actually, they're making a Ninja Turtles comic book, but that's what IDW is doing. So, I feel kind of weird about that, but, nonetheless, it got funded. So that's on Indiegogo, and we got a link to it in the show notes. So, congratulations to them. Strangely enough, Mirage Volume 4 is going to be reprinted in Russia. We got a link to that in the show notes. So that's cool. Mirage Volume 4 getting some love there. Legit from Russia. And TMNT Batman Volume 2. Of course we all saw this coming. This is after that fantastic Volume 1 that came out. It's going to be Volume 2, 6-issue miniseries starting in December. This is the IDW Turtles with like the dark Batman, not the Turtles Batman animated series crossover. So I know this is Volume 2, but it's the third volume of TMNT Batman. So anyway, that's starting in December. So I normally go through all the comics release schedules. You know where I get all this from. This is from TMNT-NinjaTurtles.com. Rich does a fantastic job over there. So head on over. IDW's on like 76. I think 76 just came out. They're still reprinting some other ones. So that's all you really need to know. There's, of course, Universe is still coming out too. So head on over there to check out the latest in comics releases. So let's get out of comics news and head into movie news.
Yeah, 122 and an 8. 122 and an 8. Terrific. Where the heck is 122 and an 8?
You're standing on it, dude.
Okay, so it's not really movie news, but I did want to share just a couple of YouTube videos. There's a part 1 and a part 2 of the... So one travesty of the 1990 film was that the great John Duprez score was never released as an actual score. Of course, we have the soundtrack, which features some of the score and also several of the songs that are featured in the film, as well as others that aren't in the film, but nonetheless. But the full score has never been released. So this is a 2-part YouTube video. So it's 2 videos, part 1, part 2. And the creators of it basically tried to parse out the soundtrack as best they could from the movie. So as far as I could find, this is the closest thing to the film score from that great 1990 film that's available. So if unless anybody out there knows of anything better, I highly suggest taking a listen to these 2 videos, because they are music of that movie is fantastic. So one other video, also referencing the 1990 film. This is a behind-the-scenes montage, and it's fantastic. It's got a lot of behind-the-scenes little clips from the making of that film, which we all love that movie so much. So with that, let's get into just a couple of quick mutated messages.
Sounds weird when he says it.
Sounds weird when you say it.
So the first one's from Kevin. He wanted to let us know after the show that he always loves chatting with us. So we always love chatting with you too, Kevin, and we look forward to the next time. And in response as well, listener Johnny Cage 1001. That's cool. Johnny Cage is listening. Johnny says, "Great interview. Always love the Eastman interviews." We do too. So with that, let's get into, I can't believe this is happening, video game news. And oh my god, do we not only have one major Ninja Turtles video game news bite, but we have 2. This is fantastic. Who would have guessed, right? So a few nights ago, I'm on Twitter, and all of a sudden this stuff starts popping up that apparently there was an Injustice competition going on, right? I don't even know where it was. It might have been like Las Vegas or something. I don't know. So they paused the tournament, and they're showing a trailer for the new Injustice 2 character pack. It's like character pack 3, okay? And I played Injustice 1 all the time. I have it on PS4. Fantastic game. I don't have Injustice 2, not yet, but I'm going to get it now because they're introducing 2 new characters and they're fighting. It doesn't even matter who they are. Because in the middle of the fight, all of a sudden, a Psy comes just crashing down into the asphalt right in front of him. You look down the alley, and there's a trench coat. The trench coat comes flying off, and yeah, it's Raphael. And then Leo, Don, Mikey jump down. They're all right next to him. And Mikey calls the witch lady or something. He got dibs on the witch lady or whatever. And then the classic, or they all jump in the air. They pause up in the sky, and then they come crashing down right at the camera. So as epic as that trailer was, the reaction video from that event is so gold. It made me so happy to see this because, and we, again, link in the show notes. When you watch this, you see what Turtle video game love is, because they're showing the first character, they're showing the second character, they're fighting, and the people are all just kind of standing there watching it, and they're like, okay, this is cool, whatever, because it's it's DC, it's a DC game, it's DC characters, and then when that Psy comes down, the people they freeze. And they're like, no. This is this happening? Is this happening? And they go down the show down the they show down the alley, and they see the trench coat, and they're like, no, this is happening. This is cute. And then he rips it off, and the place erupts, absolutely erupts, and then they jump in the air. And they come down, and the place is flipping out, absolutely flipping out. And I showed this to my wife, and she was even just like amazed, like how like that reaction, like that is just warms my heart. So I can't wait for that. That's coming in February. Is those Turtles character pack? So cannot wait for that. All 4 of them. Another thing that warms my heart is some classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle arcade games. And, just wait until next year when this brand new Nick Turtles themed, but very, very classic Ninja Turtles arcade game inspired arcade game. If that's a thing. It is now. When this arrives to your local arcade, and if you don't have a local arcade, you might have to go to the next like big town, where they have like a Dave and Buster's or something, or maybe at an airport or something. One of the blessings of living in Orlando is we have everything here. So I'm not going to have any trouble finding this. And so I feel very blessed by that aspect, because this game is fantastic. The brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game coming from Raw Thrills. Let's get into my exclusive interview. Let's call it an exclusive interview with the creators right now.
Who the heck is that? Wayne Gretzky? On steroids?
Attack!
We are here at the Orange County Convention Center. I always want to call it the Orlando Convention Center, even though it's actually Orange County. But yes, I do live here, of course. Get very lucky to have a lot of cool events come through Orlando, one of which is IAPA? I call it IAPA. Is that?
I think the technical term is IAPA.
IAPA.
It's an acronym that I can never remember. It's like International Amusement Association, something.
Yeah, something. Yeah, IAAPA, and I am here with two guys from Raw Thrills, and they are the developers.
Yes.
Developers of the brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game. Is there? Well, let's introduce ourselves first.
All right. Well, I'm Matt Cinquetti. I'm the producer of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles by Raw Thrills.
Yep. Excuse me. I'm Mike Foy, and I am the project lead for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game.
Awesome. And you guys just came from Chicago. It's nice and chilly. You came in here with the heat and the humidity, and but more importantly, you brought this very hot game. I got a chance to play it. I am very happy with what I got a chance to check out in there. So I guess first of all, could you guys tell me a little bit about the company that you guys are from?
Yeah, well, Raw Thrills was started primarily by a lot of ex-Midway Games people. Obviously, Midway was based out of Chicago, and when they closed, they kind of, spread out and spawned a bunch of other game studios. So a lot of the game studios that are in Chicago have ties to Midway. And our company is owned by Eugene Jarvis. He's the president of the company. He's a very famous game designer. He did legendary games like Defender, Robotron, Narc, Cruisin' USA, Smash TV. Like, everybody's played all of his games before. So, and
a lot of arcade games.
Yeah, so he didn't want to leave Coin-Op after Midway, and he started his own company and kept it going, and it's been very successful for us, and we're the top arcade developer around, so like we're a big part of the industry now.
Yeah, I mean, in addition to the Turtles new game, you've got is it Injustice was in there?
Yeah, Injustice is one of our new games this year. Snowboarder, which is like ESPN
that was the
X Games license.
I saw that, yeah.
And we just our big top secret project that we just showed was the Mario Party Challenge World Redemption game. Yeah, that was a surprise for the show here. So those are our hot new 4 games, and we still have a lot of our legacy games like Space Invaders Frenzy, Jurassic Park, Walking Dead, Cruisin' Blast. Yeah,
if you've been in an arcade game, you've played a Raw Thrills game.
Yeah, if you've been in a modern game room like Dave & Buster's or Chuck E. Cheese, our stuff is everywhere.
Yeah.
The airport. Yes, even the Orlando airport. Yeah, we stopped in when we landed, and we're like, hey, there's our games.
That's awesome. So I'm here to talk, of course, about the Turtles game. So this first I heard about it was almost like it was leaked out on the internet. Is that what happened, or is it an advertisement or something?
It did initially started as like a leak, whenever we get a new game, like we do like location field tests, and then once it's out on location, it's hard to keep it bottled up, and word gets around, because of the internet. Like in the old days of Midway Games, you used to be able to put a game out at a little bit of a further location, and it would take a while for people to find out about it.
Pre-internet days.
Pre-internet, yeah. Now it's like somebody takes one photo of it and hashtags it, and then it's all over,
That's right.
And so then, of course, we had to comment on it when we were approached by certain websites, and we were all. I know Mike and I were very surprised at the reaction we got, like from a lot of mainstream video game press, like like Destructoid and Kotaku and things like that.
Yeah, usually the arcade industry is ignored by the mainstream video game press. Because we're kind of a dead industry.
There's the perception that we're a dead industry, but as you can see,
it didn't look dead to me. Yeah, that's for sure.
We're alive and well.
Well, I think it's a generational thing too. I mean, there's my generation grew up with arcade games, and it went through. I would say probably a dip, but I mean the arcade bar is now a thing. Yep. There's several of them here in Orlando.
I think it just kind of evolved. I don't think it ever went away. It's kind of turned into more of a casual market, like the big places like Dave & Buster's. We call them FECs, Family Entertainment Centers, like Main Event, Round One. They're all big multi-million-dollar corporations with tons of games. They have bowling and things like that. It's just the arcades we grew up with are no longer around. Like the little neighborhood, with 50 games in a little strip mall. Those kind of places aren't there anymore. But there's still plenty of places to play arcade games.
That's what I had growing up on Fort Myers Beach. We had Pirate Pete's. It was just a little hole in the wall. It was half arcade, half VHS rental. And there was even a room in the back that had curtains that you couldn't go in unless you were over 18. So
they kept all the beta tapes.
Yeah, right. But that was the arcade on the beach, and we played a lot of Turtles in there. That's for sure. So let's talk about the game itself. So it's very reminiscent of Turtles arcade games in the past. Especially Turtles in Time, just through the gameplay. I mean, even I'm always Raph. That Raph's my guy. So we should ask you, who's your turtle?
Leonardo.
Leo?
I like to play Raph as well.
Yeah. There is this interesting thing of who is your favorite and then who are you most like. Mm-hmm. I'm probably more like Donatello because I work for NASA, so that's my real job. But Raph's my guy. Like that's the character I find most intriguing. So I always have to play as Raph. And so I'm in there, and right away I'm doing where you grab the guy and you toss him back and forth. That was, and then throwing him at the screen. Mm-hmm. So both of those very reminiscent of Turtles in Time specifically. You had all four turtles lined up in a row to 4-player co-op. Why Nick Turtles? Because I know there's been several Turtles games that have come out, like we were discussing in the past decade, and some of them haven't gone with the Nick Turtles style.
Yeah, I would say it was obviously we had an existing relationship with Nickelodeon. We'd done previous games with the Nickelodeon license, and it's the most current, most popular Turtles brand. And there was an opportunity there that they provided us with some assets, to use for the game. They've been very helpful for us because we're, like a smaller operation. So we don't have teams of like 80 people working on a game like a console game. So
you guys don't have a mocap room and all that stuff?
We've done some mocap.
We've done mocap in-house, yeah.
No, really? Have you? Okay.
Yeah, there's all sorts of different solutions for that.
Yeah. I mean, Mike could probably tell you more about the assets themselves, like from the show, but they're directly from the show.
Yeah, they're all the voices right out of the show. It's all the same voice actors.
Right from Nickelodeon. Yep. And the show.
Did you guys do the audio capture for all of them, or did they just kind of send you all of them?
They gave us the voices.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Let me give them money.
Yes.
It's all part of the licensing.
You got to pay the voice talent.
Sure.
Yeah. That's separate from any licensing.
Right. Yeah. So they kind of handle it as kind of like intermediary kind of for you guys. I see.
Yeah.
Of course, Nick Turtles just had its big series finale. I don't know if you guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I'm like the in-house Turtle expert.
Okay.
I've watched 100-some episodes of Turtles. Yeah. Read all the Nickelodeon Turtle comic books. Read all the more adult IDW comic books. Picked up all the hardcover ones from the Mirage ones.
Days.
I have a few of those in a box back in my house.
Yeah, I have I still have some of the old Mirage comics in my closet.
Here's my newest. I got a couple in here. Here's my newest edition.
Yep.
Nice.
Turtles and Usagi, the newest one. And then this is actually one. It's an older one. It's funny. I totally didn't plan this. This is actually the prequel comic books to the TMNT CG movie. So working through these right now. Very interesting art style on this one. So.
And in addition, I've also checked out all the current games that are Ninja Turtle themed.
Yeah.
The Dice Masters, the HeroClix. I just recently picked up what is it? Out of the Shadows? Is that the one?
Yep.
The other one. I haven't gotten around to playing that one yet.
in Manhattan?
Yep. Yeah. And additionally, all the other the console games.
Yeah. So, you mentioned console. I'll get back to that later. So we talked a little bit about the gameplay. Very reminiscent. If you've played Turtle arcade games in the past, this is all going to feel very, very familiar. It was like going back in time. It really was.
We went back and we played all the old beat 'em ups, not just the Turtle games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Mike and I played some of the more obscure, games from the past.
See, I'm thinking like X-Men and Simpsons.
Yeah, well, those are obviously the most popular ones, but I mean, even going further back, like Double Dragon,
sure,
Dungeons and Dragons, Final Fight, Bad Dudes,
wow, yeah.
Like what was that one that I was suggesting the jumping mechanic from?
Magic Sword, was it?
Magic Sword?
And then there was Golden Axe, Revenge of Death Adder.
Oh yeah, Golden Axe. Yeah, that was.
I mean, that
Golden Axe.
the brawler / beat 'em up genre dominated the arcades, right before the fighting games took off, in the early '90s, and so it's been a long time since this genre has been touched in the arcades, and that was kind of one of the things. Like, what Raw Thrills is always looking for novel experiences for people. And now that it's been so long since a brawler has been made, that like a 4-player arcade, beat 'em up is now a novel experience.
Yeah.
So,
well, for I think new generations,
sure.
I mean, this is a totally new experience.
And the Turtles license is great because it appeals to everybody. It's like the parents who grew up with the '80s cartoon and the movies and stuff. Also, the current kids, with the Nickelodeon, you have the kids that also grew up with the '90s cartoon. So
it is a multi-generational franchise. For sure.
And we like licenses like that. We like to make games like that to appeal to everyone. We can't focus just on one.
Right.
We have to make a game that a lot of people like. So
definitely.
Yeah. So Turtles was an attractive license and to do that type of game.
Yeah. If I was in the game industry, I'd want to jump at that opportunity right away, just for selfish reasons. But so let's talk about a little bit about the characters. So obviously, the playable characters are the 4 Turtles. Yep. But we've got a lot of villains to defeat throughout the game. Maybe actually before we get there, let's talk about the stages first, because I think that'll segue into the villain. So we've got the streets of New York.
Yep, there's the New York streets,
and the characters in there are
the 2 bosses in there, Rocksteady and Bebop.
Yep, from the Nick Turtles series.
From the Nick Turtles, right?
With their voices.
With their voices, yeah. I mean, it's an exact duplication.
And there's a helper character in there that pops up if you grab his icon, which is Metalhead.
That's right.
So he comes in and nukes everybody.
I was wondering how that happened. All of a sudden, he popped up on the screen. Somebody else grabbed it.
Actually, I think it was me because I was playing.
No, that's right. You were. That's right. You were playing when I first got on there.
Yeah, and then I walked away. And then we have footbots, various colored footbots.
Reminiscent of old Turtles games. Yeah, absolutely.
Turtle games.
Notice that?
The purple ones and the blue ones.
The yellow ones.
And then
they all have different weapons too. I noticed that they're all some of them have the guns, some of them throw stuff.
Yeah, we try to make it so that they had their own job to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it also helps clue the player in as to what.
Totally.
Which guys they need to hit first? Because
absolutely. That was part of the strategy of the game.
Yeah.
If they were just multicolored for no reason, then it's just colors.
Right.
But if it means something.
So then, additionally, we also have there's the Normans and some Krangbots in there.
That's right.
They make a little cameo on that level.
That's
but
right.
It's primarily footbots.
That's
at
right.
That level.
Yeah, they come out of the
Krang. The Krang that is the Krang that is always the Krang.
The ones called the Turtles.
Yes.
So the sections with the Krang vans, that's where those guys come out of.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. So then the second level is I guess
the TCRI building.
TCRI building. Okay.
Yep.
Lots of Krang.
Yep. There's Krang in there. Let's see. There's various color Normans.
Mm-hmm.
We have the UFO brain.
Yes.
Brain.
Yeah, the little Krang saucer.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember if that's the name of it. I know it has like it was like a multi-purpose rig file. It's got legs and it's got a turret on the bottom of it. It's got a dome. There's that guy's flying around there. There is. What else is on that level? I can't remember.
Well, the 2 bosses.
Krang Subprime.
We got Krang Subprime.
Leatherhead's
Leatherhead pops up. He's the helper. The helper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Ice Cream Kitty?
Yes.
Yes, let's talk about Ice Cream Kitty, because that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So Ice Cream Kitty is found in the cooler.
Yep.
The little cooler that you can pick up as like
so that's a pickup,
you think you're just gonna throw it like a trash can or something. Then all of a sudden, Ice Cream Kitty.
Yeah.
Mike insisted upon.
Absolutely.
Had to have Ice Cream Kitty in there.
Of course, yeah.
Well, early on, we had made a decision as to what pickups and power-ups we wanted to put in the game. Shurikens were an obvious one.
Yep.
We wanted to put smoke bombs in, but the way that they're used in the show is a little bit different than the way we use them in the game.
I liked how they were used in this game.
Yeah, so in our game, they're more of like an EMP type.
Yeah, it basically freezes everybody.
They're all robots.
Yeah.
So they electrify them and they freeze for a moment.
I liked it.
And what else do we have? And then, at some point...
That turtle shell pickup is another one.
The turtle shell, so that's the spinning one, right?
Yeah, you get to control it after you pick it up.
Again, an old school throwback.
Yeah, so the one episode that I thought was hysterical, and also both my daughters love it, is the one where Mikey brought Ice Cream Kitty into battle with him in the cooler, so that's where we took it from.
Oh, it's awesome.
Essentially, and so Ice Cream Kitty's kind of a boomerang weapon.
Yeah.
Kind of, it doesn't really come back, but you kind of throw it and it kind of
bounces off all the
links
characters.
to guys, and
You chain them.
Yeah.
Like 3, I think that's a nod to people who like the current show,
Absolutely.
And I think even people who haven't seen it,
because it's small and it moves fast.
Yeah.
But if you know the show, you know right away that's Ice Cream Kitty.
That's like the cult character from the show.
Well, that's Kevin Eastman. Kevin Eastman does the voice.
Yeah.
Actually, Kevin was on our last episode. So.
Oh, cool.
So that's level 2.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are the only 2 playable levels at the moment.
Okay.
We have 2 more planned levels. There's going to be a sewer level, sewer underground.
All right.
And the current planned bosses for that are Baxter Stockfly and Crumbdale. Yeah. So and then once you beat those 3 main levels, then you unlock the Shredder's throne room. And that's where you're going to do the old school beat 'em up brawl to beat the game
to get to the end.
Yeah, to get to the end, the final showdown. You got to rescue April. So
of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. So that's the incentive for people to beat the 3 main levels. There's going to be quite a bit of gameplay here for people. If they want to sit and play. Even just these 2 levels that we have available now, it takes about a good 20 minutes to beat both levels.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
When it's all said and done, I figure we'll probably have a good 45 minutes of gameplay.
Sure.
Which is a lot for an arcade game.
And reminiscent, I would say, of the older Turtles games.
Right.
They were probably right around that same clock time. So
the one difference is most of the old beat 'em ups is linear.
Yes.
We have ours more open ended, where you can pick which level to start at.
Yes, I noticed that. Yeah. So kind of the idea is you can pick the 3, and then once you've beaten all 3, then the 4th one opens up.
Right. It'll take you to one of the next levels, as soon as you beat one of the levels.
While I'm thinking of it, I wanted to note that the addition of characters is super fluid. I mean, if somebody can just jump in there and it's immediate. That was very technically that was a very nice implementation, I guess. So.
Thank you.
So you were talking a little bit about the how the project began. Why the TMNT? It's obviously inspired by these TMNT arcade games. The music, same thing, right out of the show, right?
The music is right now it's licensed music.
Okay.
It's still TBA. We're still in the planning stages. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess maybe I was focusing on all the sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
All the
voices.
Yeah.
Yeah. The stuff we have in there now is pretty close. But,
yeah. Okay. All right. Is there? Are you guys going to be going for anything in particular on the music, or?
TBA.
Okay. All right. There's a guy who used to rap. He lives down in Miami now. He might be available.
I don't think we're going to use Vanilla Ice.
What are you talking about? I didn't say that. So let's talk about availability details. So you guys got 2 more levels that you're working on, and then after that, you'll start hitting arcades at that point?
Yeah, right now the target is spring of next year, spring of 2018 is when operators will be able to buy it. And you'll start seeing it show up hopefully across the world.
All right. And say that there's someone who has a lot of extra money that they want to part with. Is that an option?
Yeah.
Can normal people just get this for their house?
Just normally outside the price range of average buying.
Yeah. A lot of people go, I want to buy an arcade game for my basement.
Yeah,
and they find out how much a new arcade game costs, and they go, well.
Well, we were talking a little about all the logistics that go into arcade cabinets versus just console games, and there's a lot more to it than I ever really understood. So, but it makes a lot of sense. All the upkeep for all the hardware. So,
and for operators, it seems like a lot of money for us. Like an average person putting it in their basement, but for them, these guys are operating these, multi-million-dollar businesses, and like the game can make its money back like really fast for them.
Sure.
So it's definitely worthwhile for them to buy them.
So you're saying I need to open up arcade in my house? I think that's.
Sure.
I think that's what he said.
Sure.
I think that's what Matt said. Okay.
Yeah. Arcade full of Ninja Turtle games.
That sounds fantastic. Okay. Let's say, do you guys have like a suggested cost for play
per game?
Yeah. Do you guys suggest that to?
We do. We'll have like default settings, but really it depends on the location and how. Like most of our games are very adjustable.
Yeah, sure.
Thrills games always have a lot of operator adjustments that they can. Make the game easier or harder.
Oh,
and
really?
Okay. People last a little bit longer. Even the games from the past had that. It's just we were all blissfully unaware.
Yeah, I don't think that's not.
You're blowing my mind right now.
It's not anything specific to our games. It's just arcade games.
All arcade games have done that.
Really?
And it's like we give options to our operators to tailor it to their location.
Yeah.
So
it makes sense, but
so
kind of dying inside a little bit right now. No, I'm just kidding.
It's if you have a location that's like more sophisticated gamers or older audience, you're going to make it a little more challenging. And if you're going to have younger kids,
at the end of the day, it's about that dollar bill. So if somebody puts in a quarter and they last the entire 40 minutes.
Sure. I'd say on average, most places are going to be probably about $1 a play.
Yeah.
Other places are cheaper, like Chuck E. Cheese's are usually cheaper. Most of their games are, 25 cents to 50 cents a play.
Okay. Right.
Like I said, it really depends.
Oh, I know. I know that games aren't like they used to be as far as the cost per play. It's not back in the day. So that's everything. That's not just games. So
you adjust for inflation.
That's all it is.
2 tokens equals like $1 now, probably.
Do you see a lot of places still using tokens, or
no?
Is it pretty much just quarters?
Tokens are actually kind of they're going the way of the dinosaur.
Yeah.
Like most places use the player cards now.
Player cards, right? Yeah. So you guys have the ability to hook that up on the front. Yeah.
Yep. That's Our game has to support everything. Like we support cards, we support quarters, we support British pound, euros. You name it.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That goes into all that hardware stuff that we were talking about.
The player cards are definitely the most popular right now for everything, because it allows the operator to set whatever they want.
Yeah.
It's easier.
So, I mentioned it, or we mentioned earlier. So, Injustice is a console game, and you guys make Injustice for cabinets. So, is there any chance that we could possibly see this going into the console world?
I would say probably not.
Okay.
Because we try to deliver experiences strictly for the arcade, as historically most Raw Thrills games don't get like home conversion. And there's usually licensing issues too that come into play there.
I know all about that. Yeah.
It's like we're licensed for arcades, and that's really what we focus on. That's what we're good at. And we don't really hit that market too much.
Right. Yeah. I only ask because it's a really good game, and I hope that everybody can get a chance to play this. So.
I think our hope is everybody comes out to the arcades and go find it.
Well,
play
I'm lucky. Right, I'm lucky in Orlando. We've got arcades everywhere here. So all the resorts have arcades in them. At all the parks and everything. So pretty lucky here. So I just want to make sure everybody gets a chance. Yeah, if you don't have one locally, go find one. That's going to have this this Turtles game because it's fantastic. It really is. It totally brought me back, and I love your shirt, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
So Shoguns and Minions, Appetite for Mutation. Yeah, I've seen this shirt before. I haven't seen one in person, and it's fantastic. So
Mike's repping at the show.
It's part of the brand.
Let's see. And you said spring?
Yep, spring of 2018 is our target date. Yep.
Guys, thank you so much for spending time with me and showing me the game. I think I want to try it out a little bit more. Try out some of the different characters.
Mm-hmm.
What's the power up button?
The turtle power.
Turtle power.
The turtle.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, so you build up a meter, you get to hit the big green button, and then that's your special, basically. Mm-hmm. So, and it is every character has its own different power, I guess you will.
Yeah.
It's basically kill every guy on the screen, except for if it's a boss, then it just does a lot of damage.
Yeah, because it's a very, very quick, short cutscene that kind of just comes in and nukes everybody.
Yeah.
And there's some environment items will spawn out these turtle power pickups.
That's right. Yeah, so you can kind of boost your meter faster. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little motivation also for people to find stuff in the environment, smack the garbage.
Instead of just flying through, interact with the environment. Again, another old school Turtles arcade game aspect. The fire hydrants, the parking meters, the garbage cans. You still got the pizza life pickups.
Yep.
So that's fantastic. Let's see. Mikey does like a pizza attack. Mm-hmm. Raph basically rages on the ground, and everybody dies. Donatello does like a Raiden type electric attack to everybody, and Leo does a swirling tornado of doom.
Yeah, something like that.
We'll call it that.
Mm-hmm.
So, thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming out and seeing our game.
Thank you.
My pleasure. That was fantastic.
Hopefully there's audio on there.
Yep. Thank you once again. Thank you so much to Matt and Mike. They were so gracious and helpful, and they were playing when if I wanted to get some extra photos or video, they would play the characters for me and do the different moves that I was asking them to do. Very gracious and very very helpful. And really thank those guys, and I cannot wait to try out this game. People, listen to me. This game is fantastic. It will bring you right back. And if you don't believe me, I was able to interview a few others, unbiased opinions of some of the other. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of people at this convention, so they had people walking by all the time playing this game. So, and everybody's really busy, so I wasn't able to grab everyone, but I was able to grab a few people. Let's get their reactions right now.
Old Brawlers.
Reminds you of the old Brawlers, the old Brawlers.
Streets of Rage, and all the old Turtles game.
The old Turtles game?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
You played both levels?
Yeah, I played both levels, yeah.
Yeah, but you got what do you think about like the hero or the villains at the end, like the
I love the
boss battles?
I love the size of Rocksteady. He's absolutely huge.
Yeah.
It feels like he's like a third of the screen. So they certainly have the spirit of the game done well.
Yeah. What you were playing as Raphael?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that your favorite?
No, Donatello is actually my favorite.
He's somebody else playing.
Yeah, the game's so busy. Raphael was open when I started, so I felt like I had to keep playing as him since that's who I started with.
Sure. Kyle?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. It's nice to meet you.
I actually thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Because I played the old game back in the day, like the Ninja Turtles 2 in the arcade.
Yeah. Yep. Did
a
lot of similarities?
Feels like the same game, kind of, but brought to modern. Yeah,
definitely. What? So you played both levels?
I played like many levels. I don't know how many. Fought like 5 different bosses in there.
Yeah.
So,
What? You guys got Bebop and Rocksteady. You had both cranes.
Yep, both cranes. And then there were...
what'd you think, like, as far as difficulty level?
I thought it was really good. I
Yeah.
thought it was really good balance. And I also thought that the super moves that you have in there were pretty cool, too.
Yeah, the turtle power
the
button
turtle
is
power.
nice that you can just kind of just hit the big green button and cool stuff happens.
Yeah, and it pauses gameplay, so it kind of gives you a break in
That's
there
true.
for a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's
Yeah.
really cool.
What's your name?
Adam Larson.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Thanks
you.
a lot. Yeah,
Take care.
appreciate it. Yeah, you too.
You're going.
Second best game you've seen?
Or the best.
Or the best. Second or the second best or the
Definitely
best?
the most fun. Like, out of all the fighting games I've ever played, even traditionally, it feels like that. It feels like the old classic ones.
Yeah.
It's fun in that regard.
Yeah. So, you know, that's kind of what we grew up with playing, you know, in the arcade. So it's definitely got that old school feel to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the power-ups are fun. Cutscenes were cool.
Yeah, we hit the big green turtle power button and
Oh, yeah.
a little cutscene and this cool stuff happens, kills everybody. Oh, there you go. Finally got him. What'd you think?
That was awesome.
Yeah, you liked it?
Yeah. It's been a long time since I had a good video game come out, so...
Yeah. Very cool. Alexander?
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Jeremy, thank you very much. Have a good day. So you heard it. It is a definite throwback, and everybody loves those original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade games. This not only, I mean, we talked about like reinventing the wheel. Like this is not a reinventing the wheel. This is a taking the wheel and putting some sweet rims on it, because it takes that original concept and just pluses it up for the modern audience, and they did such a great job. So thank you again, one more time, to Matt and Mike. Again, thank you guys, and cannot wait to play it. Song of the show is taking us back to the Nick Turtles, the Tales of the TMNT. This is, strangely enough, a recap rap that was released by Nickelodeon in advance of the finale, even though it talks all about what happens in the finale. So there's spoilers in here if you haven't seen the Nick Turtles finale yet, or any of Tales of the TMNT. So I will point that out. So if you haven't had a chance to see it yet and you want to, probably skip to the end of the show. But I'll go ahead and close us out. Visit our official website, TurtlePowerPodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at TMNT Podcast. You can follow me at FigDonPat. I'm posting a lot about space stuff because I'm launching rockets and stuff now. You can follow Alex at ARodriguez2005. He's posting lots of pictures of his baby. You can follow Darby at Darby T. Patton. Darby's working a lot. He's working a lot right now. I just talked to him the other day. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/TurtlePowerPodcast. Subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/TurtlePowerPodcast. Share your feedback with us. Old-fashioned email, TurtlePowerPodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe and rate us on iTunes. Y'all, we haven't had a rating on iTunes in like 2 years. So if you could spare yourself, 5 minutes and jump on your phone or on your computer, head over to iTunes and put in a little rating for us, a little 5-star or whatever. We'd really appreciate it. We're on Stitcher, we're on Google Play Music, Turtle Power Podcast. Just look for us on there. Once again, as always, thank you so much for tuning in to the Turtle Power Podcast. As we've talked in the past, it's all of our schedules are crazy. We try to do quality over quantity. There's so many other great Turtle podcasts out there. You got obviously ourselves, the old grandpas of the group, Turtle Soup, Turtle Flakes, Turtle Power Pod, Ninja Turtle Power Hour, Booyaka Show, TurtleCom, TMNT, Der Talk. We're in different languages now. And the one I've been listening to the most, because it's literally every day, Monday through Friday, TMNT Minute, fantastic minute by minute of the 1990 film. It's so good. They've pointed out a lot of things I've never even noticed before. So anyway, thank you so much for listening once again, and closing us out once again, the Tales of the TMNT recap rap. I have no idea who's rapping in this. They never put any of that info out there. So to whoever it is, good job. And we will talk to you next time.
Right off the bat, it's a flashback. 4 reptiles were raised by a rat. He needed a place to hide from the crane, so he took them in the sewers and down in the train. He trained them in the way of the ninja. I'm talking about Master Splinter. The 4 brothers knew their destiny and became the defenders of NYC. Shredder was born, he perished in the blackness. Tiger Claw had to resurrect Cavaxis, but the Demon Dragon had a plan of his own to release evil spirits and assume the throne. Just when the demon had almost won, like he said the day with a piece of gum, he changed things back to the way they were, and once again they saved the earth. Life in the city was simple and clean till South Commander came back with his team. He had to find a lizard with the neutralizers that would get zapped up and leave no survivors. The turtle teamed up with all the dimensions, stopping Lord Drake, who was back with a vengeance. Suddenly, in the final hour, Bucky came back with electric powers. Stuck in dimensional limbo, they met Usagi Yojimbo. The mutant rabbit samurai took him through the Horner Forge with a battle cry. They had to defend Kintaro so we could live to see tomorrow, and take him to the temple of the Buddha so they could return to the sewer. Savant remember how to whack up dreams, so we stacked up a Monster All-Star team. Went back in time and got the big villains to create a city full of blood-sucking civilians. Dracula, werewolf, mommy, Frankenstein, even rap got trapped and joined their side. TMNT are the best of the best, and they finally put Dracula back to rest. Bebop and Rocksteady were broken, needed cheddar, so they got jobs from Retro Krang and Retro Shredder. But once they realized they would destroy their home, they saved the day by taking down the Technodrome. 50 years into the future and the humans didn't last. Only sand remains from the mutagen blast. Dunny and Raph are post-apocalyptic travelers, running from the savages, the honey badger ravages. The green paradise was where they must go, so they hit the open road with Michelangelo. They saved their brother Leo from his evil descent, and the 4 turtle brothers were together again. Heroes in a half shell of green machines. These are the tales of the TMNT. So grab a slice of pizza and pull up a seat. These are the tales of the TMNT.
This program is powered by Tascam. Tascam's Mini Studio Creator US42 is your new personal production and online broadcast studio featuring a professional quality audio interface and a number of unique real-time effects. The Mini Studio Creator delivers everything you need for your podcast or webcast. Find out more at Tascam.com, part of the Gibson family of brands.